welcome back to Shall You Proceed podcast. Once again, I have for you an amazing guest. I know I always say that, but have I let you down yet? Absolutely not. Today I have for you Nicole Edwards. Who is Nicole? Nicole is a motivational speaker, published author, poet. Nicole has been a catalyst for growth for people and organizations, working with thousands of individuals in education, corporate America, and nonprofit settings. Nicole dedicates her life's work to cheering on others to live and work from a space that reflects their personalities, values, and talent. Her work focuses on emotional intelligence and authentic power. So she's going to be the person that sits with you to help you find your authentic self, your most authentic self, and use that to amplify your life. That is amazing. With her visionary approach to teaching, Nicole has been afforded opportunities to design certificate and leadership courses, facilitate corporate retreats, speak at international conferences, write well-known online publications, and land herself a TED Talk. Shut the front door. Nicole has her own TED Talk called In Your Eyes. Please welcome Nicole Edwards. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Arlene. How are you?
I am good. I am awake. It is early, but I've been up for hours now, so it's no big deal. I want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am happy to have you. You are doing big and amazing things. You've been doing big and amazing things for a very long time. So I would love to get into who you are and what you do. So tell us a little bit about Nicole.
Sure. So for the last 20 years or so, I have worked in nonprofit. So I have a background in mental health, and I also have a background in talent development. So for those who don't know what talent development is, it's basically personal and professional development and some organizational development. So I've worked in a couple of different places and had some really great opportunities to do some really great things. I think the bottom line is that I really enjoy working with people and helping them to just really unearth what makes them them, so that they can shine in their own lives.
Well, you didn't wake up and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I would love to know, before Edwards Authentic, before all of realizing your purpose of serving others and helping people figure out who they are and what they need to do, what was your journey to figuring out, oh, this is my life. This is what I want to do?
Sure. So I stumbled upon the art of facilitation. It's actually art and a science. And facilitation is really pulling out the best in people and in groups of people, usually, by asking kind of like open-ended questions to help them reflect on their life and where they would like to go. So once I got into facilitation and doing workshops and things like that, I really felt that was the space I was best at. It can be difficult because if you have a room full of people and they all have different experiences and they're all coming to the table, it's kind of like an orchestra, to get everybody, in tune and doing their own thing, but simultaneous making it sound wonderful, so to speak, at the end.
And it's an art. It's an art. And it's actually like people do this for a living. They teach people how to facilitate, how to be neutral in those situations and pull from each person. I've taken a few seminars on that myself, and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. I can host so many meetings like this. It'd be so good.
Yes.
And it is an art, and everyone doesn't have that in them to bring comfort, neutral understanding, and make someone actually think about what's your goal? What's your big why in this? Yeah. What do you need to do? And also setting up the plans of, okay, here's A, here's B, here's your deadlines. It makes you kind of force people in the sweetest way, organize their thoughts and their plans. Because people tend to sit down and think, I want to do this, this, and this, and they dictate, but they're not able to organize it to where everyone has that ownership. So that's a true art. So thank you for doing it. Thank you.
And it's really about honoring who people are. It's not what I want for people. It's honoring what people want for themselves, right? And so really tuning into that, I found that I really loved that work. And so that became kind of the foundation for everything that I do.
How do you take care of yourself though? Because what you do and what you've built your brand on is taking care of everyone and getting everyone on track.
Mhm.
What do you do to keep Nicole on track, to make sure you're still driving your path and doing what you need to do to make sure you're good?
That's such a great question. So this pandemic has surely made me focus on those things a lot more than maybe I did in the past, which is, a hidden blessing. I think that it's a day-to-day thing, and I do a variety of things. The first and foremost thing that comes to mind, I have the YouVersion Bible app, and I read that every single day, sometimes throughout the day. I also stumbled upon essential oils during the pandemic. And so specific ones that deal with stress and anxiety. I have struggled with anxiety pretty much my entire life. And so it's really essential to have that going as well. The power of music, just
Mm,
really soothing, calming music. There's so much out there and available at your fingertips to just, set the stage where you work and even when you're just being creative. So those things stand out to me, first and foremost. I also, I live in South Florida, so I can go outside,
Soak
sometimes
up the
earlier in the
sun.
morning. Yeah, soak up the sun, get some vitamin D, and just walk in nature. Being in nature is just so fulfilling, and it brings you that peace that sometimes you miss when you're in the hustle and bustle. And especially a lot of us working remotely now, you
Yeah.
know, in a space where sometimes home and work are just, there's the blurred line there.
So let me ask you, so I know sometimes for myself, when you're a giver of and helper, how long did it take you to realize I need to make sure I'm also good first? And have you ever lost yourself in your craft and forgot about your own wellness and taking care of yourself and your family?
Sure. Yes, I have done that. I think what happens is you get burnt out. You
Mhm.
get to the point where it no longer becomes something that you love. And I feel like that's the first indicator that you've probably gone too far. When you're doing something that you love, and then all of a sudden it becomes too much, or you don't like it, or you're feeling, some kind of way about it, that's a red light, to
Right.
kind of dig deep and see what's going on. So I have definitely done that in the past. I haven't been the best at self-care, but I really feel the pandemic has made me focus on what are those particular things that will help me to maintain that wellness so I don't get to the burnout stage.
Absolutely. I felt the same way. It's hard for me to take care of myself and
Mhm.
work at my purpose and or just go, and you're trying to build something, but you have to tell yourself, sit down, look
Yeah.
at yourself. And
Yes.
2020 made me sit down, reformat, tell myself, take breaks, check yourself, check your wellness at the door. Are you responding out of something going on with yourself internally? How are you treating
Mhm.
others? And not because you want to worry about others, is like, but are you okay within
Yeah.
yourself to push forward and do what you need to do? And that's great because because you do so much. You speak, you're a motivational speaker, you take care of others. And in 2019, you started your own Edwards Authentic, where you are
Yes.
really helping others. And I want to talk about that. Let's talk about Edwards
Yeah.
Authentic. What
Okay.
made you say it's time to take what's natural with me and actually, bam, start this
Yeah.
and help others and actually, monetize and make money off of what you need to do? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, I really was fortunate to have really great work experiences before I launched Edwards Authentic. And what was the turning point for me is I felt that I wanted to use and give those talents to a different audience. So specifically, I have an interest in helping young professional women, and that has always been my passion, to help women, especially women of color, to have those resources available at their fingertips. So often you want to go to maybe a seminar or a workshop or a retreat, a retreat where you can recharge and get your juices flowing again, but maybe you don't have access because it's, just financially not in your budget, or something like that. And so I really felt compelled to bring all of the things that I have learned over the many, many years and put those offerings out there for the people that I believe, really need it the most. I have a really, as a woman of color myself, I didn't always have a straight pathway. And it was because of the people that pulled me up and that took me under their wing to show me the right way. I owe it all to them. I owe my success to them.
So with all of that success, you're now into writing. You're an author now. You're a published author. And now you have a new book that's out already, International Women of Color Who Boss Up. Now, I've met Tam. I know Tam. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
How was it? This is your first book, correct? So how was
Yes.
it for you to jump out? Because speaking and doing what you do, that's one area. But now pen to paper, you're putting it out there. First, answer, why did you want to go this direction? And how was it for you when it was done? How did you feel?
Well, I always wanted to be an author. I do write articles for a number of online publications, but I just felt that this was the natural next step for me. And so I put it out there, and I wanted to be a part of something. And I happened to be in one of a speaker group for women, and someone had posted about this project. And so I reached out and we talked, and I immediately connected with her, and I had this inner knowing, like, yes, this is it. This is what I should be doing. Yeah. And then when I met Tam, she's just absolutely wonderful. And through this process, I try not to have too many expectations. You try and hope for the best, but you're prepared. And I just want to say that she is phenomenal. She has absolutely just blown my mind with what is possible. She's an amazing coach. She cares deeply about each and every one of us, and you can feel that. Mm-hmm. And she has really embedded in me what it means to boss up. And so being a part of this project has completely shifted everything for me in such beautiful ways. And I am so glad that I decided, to do this. And I'm so excited to see what happens next.
I'm excited for you because, you already do and have done so much. And to know the next step of progression for your life it's great. And sometimes, because Tam will push you and make you realize, oh, that makes sense. That's the next direction. How was it for you to wash away the fear and just step out? Because I operate in fear on a daily basis. It's a crazy thing for me.
So I was going to say, it's never completely washed out. Right. It is a moment-to-moment choice to face the fear and do it anyway. And it's painful sometimes. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you're like, okay, I can do this. And other times you're just hanging on, like, I really don't want to do this, but I know I have to, and I know it's going to make me better. And it's those little steps that end up leading to the bigger steps. And so, I wouldn't say that fear, I probably feel it daily, and it's right. Choosing to face it and have the courage to do it anyway.
So let's talk about struggles, because you are walking in your purpose. Mm-hmm. And you've overcome, and you know how to take care of yourself. And, it's not 100%, but your wellness, you know how to check it. What have you struggled with? And what are you still struggling with when it comes to what's the next step for Nicole?
Sure. I think the thing that comes to my mind is owning who you are and what your value is that you give out into the world, right? Whether it's workshops, my courses, my speaking, and such, and really stepping in past the fear and putting out what you're worth. So attaching a cost, right, to your services that match your value. And I think in the past I had struggled with asking for what I know I was worth. And honestly, being in situations where another person perhaps didn't see what my value, or maybe, and offered me a lot less. And it was just an unfortunate situation where I had negotiated a certain price and it didn't fall through after I had actually done. I've learned, rookie mistakes in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it was actually another woman of color, which was surprising to me, because I feel like if anybody's going to stand up for you, it should be, a person that is just like you, a fellow woman of color. So I have learned and I'm learning, because it's not like an absolute, to kind of stand in your value. And it's okay if things pass you by, because then maybe that wasn't in full alignment with what you were supposed to be doing. So I don't shy away anymore like I used to, as far as, honoring what the cost is. Yeah.
I think that's really hard for us though, because just in doing what I do and what you do, when you're doing it because out of the love, it's different. And people can tell you all day, you should this and you should that. But if you don't have that confidence and embrace it within yourself to know this is this and
Yeah.
stand on it, because we tend to lessen. Well, I'll do it for this, or, because people try to force on you what they think it's worth, and they have
Yes.
no idea.
Right.
And if you're not confident, like you said, in knowing your worth, which starts with, before business, personally, do you know the value of you
Yes.
overall? Then you can stand in it and say no, and not being afraid to walk away from an
Yeah.
opportunity.
That's it right there. That's it.
And not being afraid to say, oh, I don't need, oh, thank you. And when
Yeah.
people realize, oh, you're walking away, yeah, I'm walk, it's okay. I'm still going to eat. I'm still going to shine. I'm
Right.
good. you know. But let me ask you, because you talk about all of this, right? But you've done something that is uber impressive to me. Something I think is awesome. You have a TED Talk. Shut the front door. Listen, you actually stood on stage and what's intimidating for me when it comes to a TED Talk is there's a time limit.
Yes.
Like it's a time limit. What I think is no more than 15 minutes, I think it is.
Yeah. Yes, it's either 15 or 18. My time limit for this talk was 9 minutes.
See, and what people don't realize is that goes by quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That goes by so very fast. But the honor of doing a TED Talk. So this was like 2016, 2017, right?
2017. Yep.
So tell me, what was going through your mind? I want to know the details of how were you contacted? What do you do? And did you have a geek out moment like, oh my God, I'm about to I want to know all the details.
Yeah. So I found this event in an online search, and I had reached out to the organizers of the event. And there's TED Talks happening all over or TED events happening all over the world. And this one in particular aligned with exactly what I wanted to get out into the world. So my talk is about perception and how each one of us shows up with a unique background of experiences. And that oftentimes dictates how we see the world. And so I went through a thorough process. There's quite an extensive process, both in the selection and then the preparation for it. So I ended up landing the TED Talk. And I did have a geek out moment. I think my geek out moment actually happened on stage, believe it or not. Typically, when I do speaking, I don't have my lines exactly memorized. I have a great handle on what my content is, and I'm more of an organic speaker at times. But this one was memorized because it was timed and it was very specific. And so because of that, I actually think it was a gift, because once I got on stage, I had prepared so much that it just flowed out of me. And I had one of the moments when you're looking out into the audience and you could hear a pin drop. There was, everyone was just completely silent.
Engaged, right? Totally
yes.
Engaged. Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, kind of like an out of body, wow, I'm doing this. I'm doing this right now,
I would freak out completely.
Yeah.
But I love the message. I love what you were saying. And tell me about, when you find the event and you want to do the event and you already know what you're working in, your purpose, you already know what you do. But to say, this will be my 8 minutes, to saying to yourself, this is the message, this is the impact, because listen, like that one shot you get.
Yeah.
Is that one. What made you say this will be, in your eyes, will be the message I want to deliver?
I deeply believe the quality of our relationships, and sometimes the reason for our conflict, has to do with just a difference in perception. And so if I could somehow get this message to honor other people's perceptions, it doesn't deny your own. It just means that you honor each other and you're willing to connect. Mm-hmm. Then I feel like that brings healing. Like if anybody could hear that message, If you think about any struggle that you've had in your family, or if in a romantic partner, or even, at work, so often, and throughout, my many years of doing facilitation, I saw that the root from my eyes was that there was just a difference in perception. People have different motivations. They have different fears. They have different kind of what their purpose is. And if I could shed just a little bit of light, even though I only had 9 minutes, just to think of the possibility, it was a no-brainer for me. This was absolutely what I had to do.
And I love when you said what the motto was, we're all connected in our humanness. Yes. And that's true. And I love, I took a speech class. I had to when I was in college. And when we were talking about, my professor said, it's all about your frame of reference.
Yes.
Everyone thinks we're right because our frame of reference, our unit, when you're growing up, you're taught something. Yeah. But until you walk out of your own household and engage with different people in situations, you realize, oh, there's a difference. But if you open your mind and realize this was just mine and that is yours, we can connect. And he was explaining that when he got married, him and his wife had a big argument about making the bed. 25,000 pillows, and she wanted them in an angle, swooping down, and he had them stacked up high. And she's like, "You're wrong." He said, "Well, you're wrong." And his mom had to tell them, there's no right or wrong. The bed is made.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, the bed is made. It's all about your frame of reference and being open to know it may not be how I do it, but I am open to understand that there's many ways to get to number 9. There's many ways to get to this. So I totally accept that. And I try to walk in that myself and have this no judgment zone mentality or safe space mentality to realize I know how I was raised in my frame of reference and what I've experienced is not and will not be the same as Nicole. So for me and we may connect on a few things here or there, but also what I've experienced is not the same. And I feel a lot of us, even we see it now in politics and society, we forget everyone's frame of reference is different.
It's different. Yeah.
Even if we look alike, it's a different frame of reference.
You're so right. You're so right.
So you have Edwards Authentic. I need courses. I need you to help me. So what does it look like? I know we can call you and have you be a speaker, which you're a phenomenal speaker. I can have you help me facilitate and build those skills. But when it comes to Edwards Authentic, what are you offering society?
Sure. So right now, the two that I'm currently just really focusing on is authentic leadership. And that has to do with authentic power. So if you looked on my website, you see I talk about authentic power. And what that means is where your personality aligns with your purpose. And once you are aligned, things just flow. It feels right. It feels like you're doing those things from your frame of reference, right? Those things that you want to put out into the world. And then the other one is authentic personal branding. And personal branding means to me not just I don't do any logo or, typology or any of that work. It's more of this inner work. So who you are, what you value, and how you want others to perceive you are basically the 3 main things that we focus on. And from that, everything else flows. So it's really tapping into the heart of the person and how that flows through in their personal brand. And then also, as I mentioned, in their leadership style.
Have you noticed an upsurge in people wanting to truly get the assistance when it comes to branding? I think, because social media has made it easier to get your voice out there and not have to do a lot of traveling. Or you have people who have a skill set or are experts and they're using social media or just technology, especially 2020 has made it easier, but they don't know how to brand themselves.
Yeah.
But they may be afraid to ask. But have you seen an upsurge in people asking, look, I need help?
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is I also think that people think because of all of the upsurge and because of the focus on personal branding, people miss what really is personal branding, right? How you interact on a daily basis on social media, how you treat people, the way that you respond to an email, right? The photos and the media that you choose to share and put out into the world, all of those things are cultivating what your personal brand is.
Yeah.
And so if you really take a look at those things, those root things first, I feel like you can get closer and closer to then the polished, image, so to speak, that authentically conveys who you are and what you have to offer into the world.
Have you noticed a lot of mistakes when you
What do you mean?
like when you're just saying you're surfing the web or
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
brands? Have you
Yes.
noticed like, ooh, because
Yes.
when you said that about like what you post and what you put
Mhm.
up, I am so careful about what I choose to speak on,
Yeah.
post about. I'm not great at it. I'm still a big work in progress, but I cringe at how some people are building their brand.
Okay.
And recent events with certain people in social media, I made a comment to someone. I said, that's why it's really important what you're building your brand on. Can you stand on it?
Right.
Because if your
Yeah.
whole brand is on this,
Yes.
and you have gone against that, not because of change of
Yes.
heart or, I've been thinking, but you totally destroy what your
Right.
brand is about.
Right.
How do people recover from that?
It's the realignment of who you are, what you value, and how you want others to perceive you. I really believe it comes down to those three questions. And
Mhm.
sometimes, as humans, we lose sight, especially if the next sparkly thing comes up.
Yeah.
You and I talked earlier about being able to walk away maybe from, opportunities that don't necessarily align. And just like you said, it's the careful choice that you make,
Mhm.
right? Little choices along the way, all of those are cultivating you and how you're seen. And the minute that it becomes incongruent, it becomes confusing to people. And so there's that where, what you say doesn't necessarily match what you really or who you really are in your core. And then also another thing that people do is too many things, right?
Mm.
So they have so many different things or so many different lanes that you don't really understand that, like it's not clear. It's not
Right.
clear. So I think the clarity and then the congruency, so to making sure that those two things are there, is really important, and it's
And
a
I think
learning process. Yeah.
consistency also is key,
Yeah, consistency is key. Yep.
yeah, you just can't put anything out there. It's like, does it
Nope.
match what you're trying to do? Oh, great
Exactly.
advice. I'm
Exactly.
receiving it. I'm getting it. So I want to say you have a lot going on, but you're here for people. You're taking care of yourself. We have Edwards Authentic, where you are offering keynote speaker help, helping people find their authentic selves and what they need to do in branding and
Yeah.
staying focused. And you have your book that came out in April, International Women Who Boss Up, which is awesome. Do you see yourself, and you write articles, you are published
Yes.
articles, you do poetry, all of that. Do you see yourself writing another book in the future?
Absolutely. Yes. It is in the works.
Ooh.
And we'll see. It's a unique creative process.
Mhm.
And any writer knows that it's a journey, boy. It's a journey. But yes, it will be on all of these things that I spoke to you about today, and
Right.
those things that I believe is the heart and the reason why I do what I do. So it will be on all those things, aligning with authenticity and authentic power.
Well, that I look forward to it. When that comes out, you have to come back and we need to talk about that and all the
Okay.
things you're doing, because I can see so much more happening for you. I'm like, Nicole, can you just come back on and talk to me for a little bit? I mean, I know you're busy. I know you
Of
have a lot
course.
going on. You probably
Of
have
course.
18 more TED Talks that'll be put up. I'm like, hey, I
Yes.
mean, can you just make some time for Erlene, please? I,
Absolutely, anytime.
I mean, come on. I want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing who you are, sharing your gift, your craft. I'm excited because I have the book on order, International Women Who Boss Up on order. I will be getting that hopefully pretty soon. I'm excited to read your chapter. I'm excited to read your next book that's coming out in the near future. I'm excited to tell people to contact you, to contact Edwards Authentic and get that help. I may be calling you to help me get my brand together. Anything else you want to add or tell any of the listeners?
Just that I am also on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So my LinkedIn profile is just my name, Nicole Edwards. And if you typed in Edwards Authentic, I would come up. I'm on Instagram, Edwards at Edwards Authentic, which is pretty straightforward. And also on Facebook. You can find me there.
Nice. Let me show everyone your Facebook page. Look at that. So it's exciting. I'm excited for you to see what's happening. I was going through this morning and reading your thought catalog blog
Yes.
article. I was like, oh, let me read all that. So I had to hurry up and get off there because we had to start the show. Nicole, thank you so very much. I'll make sure all your information is in the description.
Okay.
Please make sure everyone follow Nicole. Sign up for her services. Get the book, International Women of Color Who Boss Up. It is a phenomenal read. Every chapter is someone brand new and informative, and it flows. It makes sense. And women who look like you and sound like you. So that is so important because in 2021, women are killing it, aren't we? We are.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's our time.
It's our time. Nicole, thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.